Greetings and salutations, gamers. Welcome to Cast Co-op, the podcast in which three podcast hosts cast together. I am one of your hosts, Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost and host of the Xbox Expansion Pass, joined by my big brother and yours, host of Season Gaming's Bitcast, Mr. Ainsley Bowden. Looking sharp in that hat, sir.
Trying to cover as much as my face as possible. So, what's happening, everyone? Yeah, I know. I'm trying to help everyone. You know what I mean? This is for you guys. So, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Looking forward to chatting with you guys. Love it as always. And we've got some interesting topics to talk about tonight. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a lot to unpack, I'm sure. We are now joined also by the host of PlayStation Trophy Room. I'm sorry, the Trophy Room of PlayStation Podcast, Mr. Joseph Moran, aka Mr. Badbit. Hello, sir.
I'm choosing violence right off the gate. When people say, a PlayStation Podcast, the Trophy or whatever, I'm like, come on, guys. 5 minutes of research is it. That's all I'm asking.
They do it by accident. I do it to troll you.
I know, and it works. I'm happy to be here, man. I'm here to talk about why PlayStation's dead, why Xbox Game Pass is the best value in gaming, and Phil Spencer is
how Horizon just copied Halo and PlayStation.
Horizon copied, and because it got the same review as the first game, it sucks.
Yeah,
well, somewhere in this episode,
5 years.
I know.
Somewhere in this episode, I want to talk about Halo Infinite Royale, and I'm not kidding. I want that game more and more. And I will tell you what, Infernax is a game you shouldn't miss, and I want to talk about that too, because I feel like this is a game designed for Ains's people. Old people. People that are old. Yeah. Joseph Moran, you selected some of our topics for this week. What do you have on the docket for us?
Do you want a serious one, or do you want a kind of a jokey one first?
Hey, man. Ains, I should know before we even start, James Suddy specifically said not to talk about his dialysis again. He was really offended last time. So I think that should set the precedent for this show. He specifically talked to us earlier.
Yeah.
Said knock it off.
Yeah. He pointed at you. He pointed at you. No, he was just like, he's like, Ainsley Bowden makes fun of my dialysis machine.
Right. I didn't even know that was a thing.
You should hear what he says behind closed doors about dialysis machines.
It's crazy.
It's
crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah.
All right, listen. First jokey question. I have been on the hunt. Okay, I've been trying to cyber sleuth my way.
It will happen for you one day, Joe. Just keep at it.
Farmers only, bro.
Well, I've been on Christian Mingle, and I feel like I'm getting some nibbles.
Wrinkles and tingles.
Yeah.
That's all you're gonna get.
Exactly. A whole lot of clergymen, but what can you do? So here's the deal.
We are not serious this week, everybody.
Nope. No, so I've been doing a little bit of cyber sleuthing because Xbox got Activision, PlayStation's got Bungie now, and I was like, what's next? What's the next purchase? What's the next logical step for my beloved PlayStation? What is the counter? Right? Because I heard, a few people go, it's not done and this isn't the response, but the response is coming. And I'm a dumb person. Genuinely not smart at most things. But I feel like out of all three of us, Ains is the most adult out of all of us. And so I want to ask,
firing someone before we got on the show.
Is that a euphemism for just being older? Is that?
I mean, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but Ainge, you're kind of like the big brother of the group.
Oh my gosh.
And you did talk about how you were firing some interns earlier, which were like ruthless. They're like, I don't care about your bonus. I don't care about your livelihood. I don't care about your family and your child on the dialysis machine. Get out of my office. That type of ruthlessness, Ains. Jesus.
Also, we heard that you're paying Season Gaming employees with NFTs.
Yeah. You said it's the future. Anyway.
They're just my base. Like.
But I want to ask a legitimate question that maybe being the smartest one. How does a merger and acquisition work? Like, real talk. Like, how do you find that magic number?
What number? The purchase price?
Yeah, the purchase price.
What's the difference between an acquisition and a merger? Explain it to me, Ains. If you could, just with no research, handle.
Yeah, I was going to say, could I get a little preview before we jump into the topic?
I mean, for example, like, how did Microsoft find that number of Activision being worth $67 million or Bethesda being worth $7 billion? That type.
Look at it. We really got him. He's like,
I know.
I could have found this out if
this
you
is like
jokers had told me.
this is a multi-hour topic, and I'm not.
But it's a lot to unpack.
It's a lot to unpack, and I'm not even well versed in it. But I can speak. I can tell you what I know.
Yeah, please tell me what you know.
Tell us what he got. We'll call Hoglog and he'll join our show too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in all seriousness, I'm going through in my corporate life. We acquired a company last year for just under $4 billion, and it would be the fourth merger / acquisition I've been involved in the corporate level. Typically, how it works is, well, first of all, you have to find a company that's willing to sell, which is an obvious statement, right?
Yeah.
And then the reasons for them wanting to sell have to be obviously known. But the reasons for them wanting to sell or wanting to be acquired or merge with another company will change the value of their company itself. So, for instance, if a company's sinking and dying, and they want to be acquired as a life raft, obviously their value is going to be lower than a company that's on the up, like a new tech company that has created something ingenious and their value is now exploding. They may be able to generate more of a value because they can say, yeah, we're currently valued at 1 billion, but we've inclined 600% in the last quarter. And obviously we are predicted to be worth 2.5 billion in 3 years. So therefore, our fair market value, your FMV, is going to be 1.8 billion at this point in time, which basically the company that's buying has to assess what they believe the company to be worth. And the company that's selling obviously has to assess the same, and they have to meet somewhere in the middle, right? Now, for a company like Bethesda, which was, God, it's been a while now, it was 6 point something, right? 6.8 billion? No. Something like that. But anyway.
When are these lawyers going to get brave and just say 6.9?
So there's a lot of things that go into that. One is, again, how is the company currently performing, right? What is their, of course, if it's a publicly traded company, then you talk about what is their actual market cap. That's a starting point of worth, right? But then there's all the factors I just said, like what is their rate of increase? What is their revenue generation at this point in time? What is it predicted to be over the next couple of years? What that incline or decline looks like, that'll affect it. Plus, in the gaming space, right, you're talking about IP strength. So with Bethesda, obviously, you know, you're going to probably pay more because you're paying for the value of the IP in the future marketplace. So if Elder Scrolls is worth X today, you know that being able to publish exclusively Elder Scrolls 6 will generate X amount of revenue, right? So, I mean, this is about as high level as it gets. But then you take on, there's debt. Obviously, each company has a certain amount of debt that's either not written off yet, or they have things like, you know, investments that haven't been paid off yet. So say if you're a company, you invest 500 million into a project, that's a 5-year project. You're only 2 years into it. Obviously, you're expecting a 5-year revenue generation from whatever that project was. It hasn't come to fruition yet, and therefore the company that's buying said company would be taking on that risk as well, or that debt. So, like I said, this is a very broad topic. There's a million line items that go on here, but it's basically at the highest level. It's current company worth, predicted company worth, any assets and baggage. That could be debt, that could be employee bonuses, whatever is unpaid. And then in the video game space, you're talking about IP strength and future predicted value.
Right.
So it's a combination of those things.
So here's one more question for you, good sir. Out of, you know, because we're looking at the PlayStation response that's rumored. What would that response genuinely look like if they have somewhere in the ballpark of like $12 billion to spend?
Oh, what would PlayStation's market response be to have the most impact if they had 12 billion to spend on an acquisition?
Yep.
Are you asking essentially like,
yeah, are you asking like what publisher?
Yeah, who would they buy? Yeah. Or what would their strategy look like? Are they going to go out there buy a Square? Could they even do that? Or is it like, no, just individual studios?
I that's up to their leadership, obviously. Depends.
Easy way out. You took the easy way out.
You took the easy way out.
Well, I would say in the longer tailed response to that, you assholes, is
got him.
Is they have to. We don't know what their leadership's 5-year plus plan is in terms of PlayStation growth. We know the core tenets, right?
Yeah.
But we don't know what their plan of strategy is to achieve that directly, the internal documents. So we don't know, for instance, if their plan is to buy another major publisher and just spend a bulk of their money to do so there, or if they're going to just buy like several indie studios or a mid-tier publisher and several other studios. We don't know what that looks like. In my opinion, people have talked a lot about Xbox buying Ubisoft. In my opinion, if PlayStation could manage that somehow, I could see that being very beneficial for them, because Ubisoft's market cap today is about $4 billion, as I understand it, which if you look at IP strength, I would have to argue they'd probably be worth $6 maybe on the open market. Because
they got Rayman.
Because damn right. But when I think about the games they make, you think of Assassin's Creed, they have Rainbow Six, they have Tom Clancy. I don't know how long that lasts, the Tom Clancy thing. They have
I think in perpetuity.
Okay. So they have these big IPs that do generate solid money, but I think generally speaking, they could also benefit the most from PlayStation's way of building games. They have fantastic internal tools and support of those tools. We're seeing Horizon, right? A ton of it today. Looks absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
And
I just got done threatening a reviewer. Speaking of.
And they know how to develop a incredibly strong single player game that generates revenue for years on end, right? If you imagine PlayStation's influence on games like Assassin's Creed, and why I'm blanking, guys, on their other major franchises. They have several, of course.
No,
Ubisoft or PlayStation?
Ubisoft. Far Cry is another one. You know, these big IPs, if you think about what those IPs would look like with PlayStation influence and PlayStation development support. I could see something really, really strong there. But, again, a lot to unpack. But it seems counter to what PlayStation's focus is. They already have studios building those games, and they've made it very clear that they're looking to play in the live service arena more in the future, which is not really Ubisoft's trying to do it, but they suck at it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's anyone's guess. Are you just asking us to guess a publisher that they may buy?
No, I just because like I've seen so many people have hot takes, but I know that you have background in this, and if there's anyone that can actually have or lend some type of insight to this, it's just interesting, because we always, like, to me, I'm like, so what is it, like just double the company, like, oh, no. This company A is worth $5 billion, so he has to pay $10 billion, that type of stuff. But like to have someone that actually knows what the hell they're talking about, I like that insight.
It's a lot of things that go into it. There, as I said, when Xbox bought Activision Blizzard, and people, of course, on Twitter took to all these takes, as you know, and it's like there will be teams and teams and teams of analysts and lawyers that have already combed over every single line item and have done so for months to come to some sort of understanding of what their value is. So to put it into perspective, Activision generates $8.5 billion a year in revenue, something like that. That was their highest year yet was 2021 at like 8.7 billion. Yet they sold for nearly 70 billion. Why is that? Well, it's not because of their revenue generation. That's just a single line item. It's because of IP strength and fair market value, right? So it's their market cap and the ability of Call of Duty, King Mobile, all the big things we talked about, all the Blizzard IPs, the ability of those to generate hundreds of millions and billions of dollars year over year for forever. That's where it comes from.
So let's talk about this, because last time, we talked about Activision Blizzard and Bungie, and we talked about the recurring revenue out of each. It's interesting that Bungie is going to stay multi-platform. It's interesting that Call of Duty, the franchise, is going to stay multi-platform, just for the people in the back. Actually, brilliant point. We had a lawyer on Season Gaming say it. I don't know what
he said it before they announced it. Funny enough, he did.
Yeah, and this man also focuses on mergers and acquisitions,
and he knows a lot more than I do on it. So
Some people want to live in La La Land. That being said, though, interesting enough, both of those franchises staying multi-platform. And I don't know where I heard this, but not an original idea from here, my noggin. It's about platform, not exclusives. And so,
can you say that again? It oddly roboted right when you said that.
Oh, no problem, you idiot. It's about platforms and not exclusives. So I'll go to you, Luke. Original topic here, folks. Are exclusives going like the way of the dodo? Like, where do you see PlayStation being? Because even PlayStation's language is like, you've seen us start going multi-platform. This is where we're going. And we've seen Microsoft put some of their games on other platforms and trying to wine and dine, people like Nintendo to put Game Pass on there. So obviously they don't really care how you play Halo. It's just that you're playing Halo on Game Pass. So right. I want to know what your thoughts are, man.
So I do think exclusives are going the way of the dodo in the way that we currently understand them to be. That is to say, these companies that are forward-looking are investigating how they're going to survive in a distribution market that doesn't use consoles, because that's where they're headed. I bumped into news that is not, I suppose, new. I mean, the Xbox is making a streaming stick that is happening. So if that's happening, they're already trying to get away from the console space. We know that from xCloud, from PC, from being willing to publish stuff as on the Nintendo Switch, way back when with Ori, and they've kind of moved in that direction. How forward thinking the company is will determine how long they hold on to console exclusives versus things that launch day and date into their subscription services. So you are not, I don't think it's out of the realm to imagine the idea that you log into Game Pass on a PlayStation 6, you know what I mean, or whatever like that is a thing that's going to happen at some point, or you log in with a controller that you use on both your PlayStation and your Xbox and you're just logging in on your TV. I think that's the direction that things are going, and it behooves, I think, the major players to release their content into their streaming services, Spartacus and Game Pass alike, day and date, or you buy it on the other consoles. Like, you get it with this subscription, or you can pay for it outright. That's how movies work in a lot of ways. Like, if you consider, like, if I want to watch my all-time favorite, Zack Snyder's Justice League, I can go watch on HBO Max for the subscription.
It's every
episode. That's right.
That's right.
He finds a way.
That's right. I had to do it. I was watching it today. If I want to watch that, I can go to HBO Max, or I can look at my physical copy, or I can go buy it on Vudu or some other distribution. And so I think that is very similar. I believe that's the direction that Call of Duty is going to go, since that's the topic of the hour. You can buy it on whatever respective platform, or you can have it day and date with a Game Pass subscription. So that's where I see exclusive content going, but I don't think it's going to be a flick of the switch. I think this will be a gradual case-by-case basis over the next 10 years. And frankly, more and more, I care less and less about exclusivity, except when I'm locked away from content, which I don't enjoy being, right? I feel like it should belong to everybody. I don't want people locked away from stuff I like, because if they're playing what I like, that's more people to enhance what it is I enjoy.
Right.
So, if Ain spend 20 minutes, I can keep talking, right?
No, that's a great point, because we were talking earlier of like, Capcom's probably teasing Street Fighter. What is it, 6 now?
Yeah,
and that's
and Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4, yeah.
And we talked about, Street Fighter rumor is gonna be an exclusive again for PlayStation, and Resident Evil. You just threw out the idea of like, man, I hope that's not a timed exclusive, because that would suck if I have to wait, because I'm just. Yeah,
it's frustrating. And I'll quickly add, just before we lose the point. And I said this on XEP this past episode. I've arrived at a point now where I truly don't care about my hardware. I just want to log in and not lose my gamer score, because the gamer score to me, which I checked, by the way, somebody asked me, it's over 200K. Somebody asked me that.
Oh, humble brag.
Wow, I thought it was 170. But I don't want to lose that gamer score, not because of the number and the pride I take in the number being X amount, but because that's X amount of years of memories built on that platform. The same way you don't want to give up your trophy rating, I don't want to give up my trophies either. Like I don't want to vacate my username or anything like that, because those are memories built in a platform. Those are save game files in the cloud. And so that's something that occurs to me more and more. I don't care about the hardware. I care about the name and the legacy it brings with it for my life, my gaming life.
So, Ains, where do you think things are going? Like, am I going to be able to play a Halo on my PlayStation? Or is that just strictly you could play a Halo on your PlayStation, asterisk, only if you have Game Pass?
Yeah.
Or we're never going to see it?
No, I think you do see it at some point. Yeah, I definitely do. I think... So first of all, I'll say that Luke, because he spent a lot of time unpacking this, is I think his points are really valid, and I agree with them across the board pretty much. I would just add that I think what you see, and I wrote about this in an article a while ago, I think one I showed you guys, was we need to get to the idea of just logging into an ecosystem, right? Logging into a platform. That's why you're talking about platforms, not hardware. No matter where that is. And I do think there will come a time where you'll be able to play what are traditional PlayStation games on Xbox and Xbox games on PlayStation. I think there comes a time where that happens. What that exactly looks like is kind of weird, because if you think about it, right, you guys just said that the legacy of your memories, trophies, and achievements are a thing for a lot of people. Being as you play games in that ecosystem, you want it tied to that. So imagine if you are a PlayStation owner and you go to play Halo, and it forces you, which it will, to log into an Xbox platform. So you have to have an Xbox Live account, whatever that looks like in the future, right? If you log into that, really you're generating time, memories, and achievements on the Xbox platform or ecosystem, right? You're not going to get trophies for playing Halo, right? So,
but that would be the dream. Real talk, that would be the goddamn dream. I get a platinum in Halo. Oh my god,
dude! If I could log into Game Pass for PC and get a 1K in Spider-Man,
I'd pop a chub. I'm sorry, continue.
No, I just don't see that happening, because when you get to a place where the hardware barrier is removed, which is what we're talking about, when you talk about like tech in the industry today, even outside of video games, the major focus for all these companies is what they call meeting the customer where they want to be. And what that means is that people want to access your brand, and in this case, your ecosystem, from whatever device they feel like using at that point in time. So removing as many barriers to do that as possible is where Xbox has been going, and PlayStation will get there, right? Nintendo 2050, maybe. But when you do that, when you say, I don't care what controller you use, I don't care what hardware you use, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the whole goal, the way you get revenue from a user, is to be in your platform. Like Netflix doesn't care where you watch Netflix, right? They don't care what TV you're on, phone you're on, it doesn't matter. But you're paying for that Netflix subscription.
Right.
It's the same concept. They don't care where you're going to play Xbox Game Pass, but you're going to be an Xbox Game Pass member and log into Xbox Live to do that.
So, because I think you made a terrific point, and here's where I unpack it, is that Xbox just spent like $70 billion in excess of the industry
to guarantee that they are relevant for the next 10 years.
Absolutely. And more so than that, they've locked away things like Western RPGs out of the PlayStation ecosystem almost single-handedly with this. And, despite of what the internet wants you to believe, the losers on Twitter that haven't touched grass since 2003 want you to believe, they're not here to kill each other. They're here to compete with each other. And yes, they're going to go harder than some, but their end goal is not to kill one another. That's
it might have been at one time, but I think they're realizing very quickly, as Tencent and Amazon and Steam continue to garner weight in various elements. Epic is the other one I was thinking of. As they kind of adjust the weight of the industry, I think they're realizing, if you die, then I have to fight them by myself.
Exactly. And so I mean, at this point in time, if you're Microsoft, I'm going to have to start talking to the government. So like, so, just hopefully they get to Joe Biden before the sundown syndrome kicks in. Nonetheless,
better get there early.
Gotta get there early. His dinner's at 4.
Him and Luke have dinner every night.
Oh, it's sad that he was the best choice. Nonetheless, here's the deal. They guaranteed themselves bargaining chips for PlayStation to say, hey, listen, we get it. You're the most popular hardware, but we can cut that severely if you don't let us in. Because I think Microsoft does not give a shit what console sells the best within reason. They want to be everywhere. They want to be in your toaster if they could. They want to be on, your TV, your tablet, whatever the case is. They're
kind of already on fridges because of Skyrim.
Tablet.
Yeah, tablet. It's French.
Late tablet.
Like, you've seen them like bend the knee to Apple of like, okay, fine, whatever. If you can't do it on the stumps, fine. We'll find a web-based solution for you. They want to be on any piece of hardware that they can get. And I feel like one of probably the many reasons why PlayStation is so hesitant is because they don't have their answer yet. And they need to make sure that they perfect that answer to Game Pass. Because I'm very much with you guys. We're going to enter a point in this industry where it's just like, yeah, I could buy X game on my PlayStation, or I could go subscribe to this service, or I can have this Netflix of games. I do think whatever version of Elder Scrolls that we'll be playing on PlayStation will be a not best version, because I think it'll be like play the dedicated game on the dedicated hardware on Xbox and stream it on your PlayStation. But I do think it's going to be about platform. And I think the future of games has never been more exciting than like right now, because the possibilities sound crazy, but somehow possible.
100% agree. The only thing I was going to add to all that is you started part of that conversation around, do exclusives matter in the future? Because it's more platform. And I would say, at least, because what we're talking about is what I would call long-term, right? You're looking at minimum 5 years, maybe 7 to 10 more realistically. But I would say that in the shorter term, like the rest of this generation, I think what you'll see is what we're talking about as well with the Game Pass and logging into platforms. But in terms of exclusives, I think you will see a clear line between games that remain exclusive to their ecosystem if they are a contained experience, versus a live service platform that can live among all platforms, which is what Call of Duty is. Like, the reason Call of Duty got so much focus is because they have 300 million. Yep. Can't remember if it was 400 or 300, but 300, let's say 300 million monthly active users. 300 million people globally play Call of Duty. If I have that number right, someone can correct me, but it's up there. Why would you take that away from PlayStation?
To make them buy Xbox.
It doesn't work that way.
No, it does, because you remember the PlayStation exclusive thing? Remember that?
Yeah. This is what we call anecdotal data. Again, the people who
nothing anecdotal about it, mate.
That's an all original topic you got there, Joe.
The people who make these decisions have the real data, and the data is pretty clear. But Minecraft was used as a comparison this week as well, and it's probably a good one because it's so big and so global and played by so many people, and it generates so much revenue that is a platform in and of itself and will remain everywhere. And Call of Duty will be the same. Now the question is, when Blizzard's next IP comes out and it's a single player game or just a co-op game, does that go to PlayStation? I don't know. I don't think it does, but we'll see. That's to be determined. And they left some ambiguity in their messaging around
on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't know how those single player AAA first party Xbox experiences are going to go, because I tweeted this today and people thought I was trolling, and I wasn't. There is a bar consistently set by Sony and AAA third-party experiences, particularly third-party action. Third party. I'm saying third party. I apologize. I mean third person. Thank you.
Yeah.
The bar is set by Sony consistently there, and so how Microsoft enters a non-shooter, non-racing game, non-live service realm, something that they've nailed with Forza, Sea of Thieves, and Halo. It's now time to see how they can stack up against your Horizons, your Last of Us, and whatnot. It'll be curious to see how Starfield and Avowed and some of those kind of heavy hitters that take a long time, and they bought a while ago, but those games take a long time. It'll be interesting to see how they compare, because how they compare, I think in some cases will dictate whether or not they remain console exclusive in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I said this on the trophy room when it comes to PlayStation's live service games. I wouldn't be surprised necessarily if we also saw them on an Xbox at one point. Because to me, I think it's all about engagement and it's all about that player number. And, you know, games have a hard time keeping up with, you know, that engagement when you're on less and less hardware. So, like, to me, no doubt, at the very least, all those live service games are also going on PC day and date. There's no way that those games get left behind any way, because you really can't have a multiplayer this day and age be solely an exclusive. And I take a look at like Gears of War 5 is a great example of a game that, yeah, fantastic game, but man, did it fall off a cliff after a few months because it was just, here it is.
Too isolating. And, you know, you can look at the exposure that Call of Duty gets, the questions about it being, you know, available to multiple people, multiple platforms rather. And then you can look at like the numbers of Halo Infinite. No Halo game in Halo history has hit 20 million players. And for it to hit it in the months that it did, the reach is far bigger, and still people are wondering if it's enough. Still questions are being asked. Right. Why would you, and Call of Duty, the reason I brought that up is if you limited it to Xboxes only, that's a terrible idea in terms of market penetration. But also we're finding news that it looks like this year's Call of Duty will be the last one that's available on both generations, because you have this weird blended timeline that COVID may have had a thing to do with it. But also, why would you give up 50 and 110 million console install bases to shrink it down to a fraction of that? There's a time when it has to happen, but when you're developing for PC, it's a little bit different. I feel like my dog is ripping them behind me.
It's fine. It's distracting. You could blame the dog. It's fine.
I'd claim it. You know I would. So yeah, I think it's just, there's something to that about how you want a multiplayer game and a live service game in as many places as possible. Would Sea of Thieves have done the tremendous turnaround and success story that it has if it wasn't there on PC? Would it make money on Steam, even though it's available on Game Pass for PC? Like, these are questions that consistently show us answers, and a lot of people don't want to look at it from that perspective, and that's a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, and 100%. And I think even in the single player realm, the PC sales have shown of PlayStation games, God of War, Horizon, etc., that it should be clear as day that these games are going to be coming to more platforms. Yeah. By the way, I quickly Googled, so Call of Duty has about 110 to 120 million monthly active users. So that's you know, the number. It was 400 million active users for Activision Blizzard. So across that's what Microsoft bought. But Call of Duty just itself has 110 to 120 million, which is absurd. That's not even like, if you think about that, that's not like total sales. That's not people who at one time played Call of Duty. That is monthly active, meaning every month they're logging in and playing Call of Duty somewhere, somehow.
I have news, and I'm going to interrupt. It's breaking news. Okay. Cyberpunk 2077 is now on sale on Xbox Live for $29.99, which means I have to get it.
Or you could pay $10 and get it and the Steelbook if you like physical, because physical is better.
Physical.
This fucking guy.
What is wrong with
Ames,
you?
I want to know. Okay, side tangent.
Hey, I want to know. Hey, you pay 3 times more. Go ahead. It's fine.
I want to know what your house looks like, because every goddamn week, oh, here's a statue, here's a piece of memorabilia. What is it? How many storage units do you have?
I saved for 2 years to get all this Halo crap that I got. You're like, no, I'm buying this dying light pinwheel thing that's gonna sit on top of my house and spin.
Yeah. Where do you put it?
In my game room and storage.
Storage. You buy it and put it in storage. Okay.
No,
Jesus.
I display what I want to display. Anything else I don't want to display goes in storage. Yeah.
God damn.
So when you buy like a statue,
he lives in such an interesting life.
When you buy a statue, it comes with this gigantic ass box and like extra pieces for the statue, right? So when the statue gets displayed, the box goes in storage. Yeah.
I think of like Ains just like sitting by the fireplace, robe, ascot on, pipe. He's like, I feel as though I'm in a Halo mood. Smithers, fetcheth me the Halo from storage.
I'll do you one better, Joe.
You guys certainly make it out as like I'm richer than I actually am.
Every day there's a different figure set behind you, right? You know, like But no, he's actually Tony Stark from first Iron Man. He's like, buy it, store it, I need it.
Exactly.
If you guys, just to add insult to injury here, if you want a true story, this is not a joke. So we moved a few years ago into this house. It has a lot less storage in the house than our old house did. Our old house was actually bigger. Mm-hmm. So most every spot where you can store things in this house is filled with gaming boxes, like the whole house. Which
God, my wife so bad for his wife.
So my wife, we joke about it all the time. So last year I installed hanging shelving in the garage, like that goes across the 3 garage, right? And that has a ton of statue boxes. That's almost full now too.
Have you ever sold them?
I do sell them on it. I've sold a statue like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Ever saw Titanfall and it's not to me, I will fight you.
I can see it. It's right there.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest regrets.
I still have a Titanfall. You can't. It's like directly behind the camera, but it's a Titanfall. I just love that franchise. Oh
yeah, it's so good. Too bad I had to die for Apex, but still Apex great. Yeah, no, that was pretty much my topic, because what I see from PlayStation now is like, okay, so we have to build this platform, and that also comes with content. Because, you know, whoever coined it, it's not about consoles, it's about content. I think the content that PlayStation has is my favorite type of content. It's fantastic, and they have a great piece of legacy, but I don't think that's nearly enough if you're trying to get someone on a service and constantly on that service year in, year out, right? Because you're looking at 2, maybe 3 exclusives a year out of you. You're going to need a little bit more output than that. So I'm just curious to see how Sony's going to fill that output, and with what. You know, I know we talked a little bit about it a few weeks ago, but
I think
it feels weird.
Go ahead, Luke. You're fine.
It feels weird right now seeing Horizon come out.
At only an 89, I know it's garbage.
Dude, how many times I got to threaten the guy at Sevator or whatever?
I'm glad we're here, because this is where I was going to go. Obviously,
Sevator.
What isn't that the like? It's like STEVI.
Survivor, I thought, isn't it?
Dumb name. How about that? Let's rate that one a 2 out of 10.
Let's just move on from it.
Yeah.
Metacritic dictates your fun. You're a moron.
Yeah.
And so. It's weird to me being a few months removed from just a pinnacle Microsoft year. Halo Infinite and Forza launching within a week of each other. 18 million for Forza, 20 million for Halo. Like that's huge. Yeah. And somehow seeing Horizon comes out stings in an odd way. And I think it's because personally I'm not excited at all for Redfall or Starfield. No, I think it's more like I'm seeing this incredible experiences in those genres that are set to come out for PlayStation. They've been nailing them. And the investments that Microsoft has made in studios have not yielded many results yet, right? Like whether it's COVID or just production timelines, you know, In Exile, Obsidian haven't made games for me yet. Like I just Wasteland's not my jam. Grounded, really cool concept, really cool game. Not for me though. Redfall, cool, unproven. Starfield, we've seen nothing.
So it's all about you, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm the one paying the money. You know, it's just odd, I think, seeing Horizon. I'm like, man, I would love that on my platform. You know what I mean? I would love to get Gamerscore in that. And so I'm curious to see how that goes for this year, whether that comes by way of expansions for Forza or enhanced content drops for Halo. It's odd because how short is my memory that I'm seeing Horizon and being like, oof, why doesn't Xbox have that after all this investment? And we're 2-3 months removed from Halo and Forza. And that is an odd thing, right?
It is. And especially even further that Xbox was awarded more awards as a publisher than any other publisher last year.
It's true. Yeah.
So, they're more celebrated than anyone else last year by a pretty big margin too. Because remember, you're forgetting Flight Sim, you're forgetting Psychonauts 2.
Right.
It's the Disney expansion for Sea of Thieves. I mean, they had a lot of big stuff last year. But what I was going to say about Joe, you started down the topic of how does PlayStation, basically what you were alluding to was how do they keep a cadence of content that'll generate revenue into the future? And I think the direction we're seeing from them, especially with the comment about live service, what was it last week, right? 10 live service games by 2026, is, in my opinion, they see a future where they have a few platform games like we're talking about, the Minecrafts of the world, the Call of Duties of the world. That's what they're going to try to build with these teams, at least something that sticks to that level while still ramping up your resources to make more of the games we know and love from them. Because they could easily, if they weren't investing and expanding, they could easily slip into the old Xbox mantra of we've got God of War, Horizon, what's the other one?
The Last of Us, Uncharted.
Spider-Man or Uncharted, whatever, right? They could easily slip into here's the IPs you know and love. That's all you get every year. But I think they continue to make the major IPs, of course, but they do them with more frequency because they're investing in expanding the studio. So instead of one great experience from PlayStation every 6 months, you may get one every quarter. Yep. And then you overlay that with a few platform titles that are continually generating players and revenue, and you layer those together. That's the short term. Let's not forget that in the console space, they're the only one also investing in VR, and we have VR2 coming, which looks fantastic, and that VR market is expanding. So there's plenty of people, this is anecdotal, but I feel there's probably a good percentage of people, more than there was 4 years ago, that are wanting to expand into better VR, but don't want to do it on PC. So PlayStation's
me being one of them.
Me too. Yeah. So PlayStation's going to have a lockdown on that. Plus, they're also expanding. Not that I don't think it matters to us three, but they're also expanding into the mobile space. Right. They're investing in mobile development as well. So I think there's, as with all companies like this, there's a multi-layered approach. But that's what I expect out of PlayStation. For us, I expect more of the single-player titles we love more frequently. With new IPs mixed in. I expect a few live service games like a Twisted Metal that'll have seasons and unlocks and characters and skins and all those things you see out of like the Battle Royale games combined with a new VR experience. And for me, that sounds fantastic. Let's go.
Yeah. I've said this numerous times on the Trophy Room. Shout out to Una for implanting the thought in my head is, if Xbox is Netflix, I really do feel like PlayStation's going to be the Disney Plus, where it's like, we don't have as much content as Netflix has. You're going to see some A tier, you're going to see some B tier, you might see a Crossfire X from time to time. With PlayStation, I hope their thing is like, it's not about quantity, it's about quality, and that I hope quarter you do have something from them that catches your eye and goes, okay, I need to play this or I need to watch this. If you're looking at Disney Plus, we just finished Book of Boba. Now in a month we're going to have Moon Knight, and then once Moon Knight is done, we're going to have the Obi-Wan show, and then once the Obi-Wan show's over, we have the Andor show, which apparently that has a movie budget for every episode. Like, there's a lot to get.
Andor? That's not the one I want to have the movie budget.
Oh, you shut up. You
give that to Obi-Wan.
Shut up. No, Andor's great. He's one of our favorites here in this
I don't
household.
Know who Andor is.
Oh my God.
So
don't white.
At me ever again, Joe.
Yeah, I know.
Ever again. You're
maybe I should start dating Ainsley's mom. You see the tweet, Ains? Did you see the tweet?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Luke's mom sent me this. She's so
Can I say one thing? Joe?
Yeah.
Kill yourself.
Oh, whoa! That would
Yeah,
solve a lot of my
idiot.
problems.
Cancel culture.
On top of all that, we forgot to mention that they'll continue to do the third-party deals, which
Yeah.
they do.
That's
Nobody likes them. Well, I mean, some people like them, but generally speaking, I don't feel they're good. I don't like them, but
Nope.
Sony's really good at them. They have those relationships built.
Mhm.
They use them to their advantage. They're a business. They're going to do that. So I just was playing Sifu. I couldn't play that on Xbox. Played it on PlayStation. Absolutely fantastic game. That's a small example, but you've got your Final Fantasy 16s. You've got your Forspoken's. You've got your Final Fantasy 7 remake, and those will continue to happen.
I wanted to tag in on that because you beat me to the punch on the third party deals, but I really hope that Microsoft is able to stop those from happening or make some of their own, because it's very frustrating to feel like your brand doesn't want you to experience those things as much as another brand wants their fans to
He sounds very fanboyish tonight, doesn't he?
Right?
Joe?
He really does.
I think
I
it's
don't mean
actually
to.
coming out. It's coming out finally.
I mean, you know what? Yeah, death to anything I don't like. But really, I don't like when companies seek to deny. I don't know how to put this. It feels to me that Sony is willing to do for their fans what Microsoft won't, and that is not a fair thing, right? That is not the case. They, for God's sakes, they just went and bought Activision. They could reignite how many IPs? They could rescue Call of Duty from kind of the turmoil that it's been. There's a lot they can do that's great, but when you see some of the games you listed, when we're on the eve of a new Resident Evil announcement and PlayStation's teasing stuff to go with it, that stuff feels strange to me. You know, when Spider-Man's on a Nintendo platform, on Sony platforms, not on Xbox, that feels weird. One of you's making noise in the background. I swear. If it's
that's probably me. I'm so sorry.
For once, it's not me.
Yeah. Last week, by the way,
I was tapping
poker chips. Joe or Ains had poker chips the whole time.
Stop!
I have them right here. Sorry.
It's like the dialysis machine going off when Luke's trying to play his game. Like, Sonny,
so crazy. So crazy.
Could you try not to die when I'm not
Speaking
playing?
of Sonny, he's teaching his 2-year-old all these cuss words, and the kid's getting in trouble, and Sonny's just laughing at it.
Yeah,
just laughing at it.
I don't think he's a great parent.
No, probably not. C tier at best.
You know? That's our friend. We can make fun of him.
Core of parenting.
That's right. But yeah, that's what I think. We're gonna get a Disney Plus. We're gonna get a Netflix, and those third-party deals, they work somehow because they keep making them.
They keep making them. And well, this is a weird generation to use console sales as a barometer because they're consistently sold out. Because they're both doing very well. But it is interesting to note how far ahead PlayStation is currently in system sales. From the best guess data we believe it to be somewhere around 12 million Xboxes and 17 PlayStation,
17 or 18, something like
that.
It's like 60%. Xbox is at 60% of PS5.
Right, and they're still both selling out. So, and there's nothing to shy from on that one. But I don't know. Can we change the subject?
Seeing Xbox sell in Japan for once.
That, you know what, you make a good point.
It's like 10 times the amount they sold Xbox Ones, which is cool.
It is cool, and it makes me wonder if those third parties
they need to buy Sega,
Square, and Capcom based aren't a factor in why their PlayStation continues its assertive dominance, a factor amongst many.
They need to buy Crazy Taxi, and they need to buy Persona, and they need to make it exclusive.
Don't shit on Crazy Taxi. That's a legend.
I'm not. They need to buy Sonic because Sonic goes fast, and if he goes fast, then Xbox goes even faster because it's got 15 teraflops and teraflips and teraskips, and then PlayStation's fucking dead.
Are you still going?
I miss teraflop argument. I don't because they were stupid.
You see, because the die side. No. Shut up, Luke. You're so dumb. The die side. Like, it's like bigger, and that means there's more juice. Like
you AMD and the Razer.
Yeah, it's because like the AMD, like at the Foxconn factories, they put extra dye in them.
None of that made I didn't care. I never cared on those shows. I remember once being asked on a show about some chipset, this, that, or the other, and I was like, I don't know. And that was the end of it. They just kind of looked at me, and I looked at them. I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't care either.
Yeah.
Does it work when I press play?
Does it make a game look pretty and gameplay good? Good. Yeah,
yes.
No. You wanted to change the subject. Go for it, you dumb idiot.
I did. Well, it looks like we're on the absolute cuff at the time of this recording, and by the time this is out, we'll already know what CD Projekt Red is teasing, which seems very obvious. Cyberpunk has a patch that is downloading, adding about 20 gigs to its file size on Xbox. It's now appearing in optimized for Series S and X launches. They are responding to tweets about this with like cheeky, like, oh, look at it. Oh, I thought that was a McDonald's chair. It very much, it seems like this is going to be the game, the one that's supposed to be the true launch of this, the one that's supposed to deliver on all the things that it failed to do. And Ains, I'm not taking a shot at you when I say that, but I love when
you talk about games you didn't play. It's awesome. Keep going.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to. Ains in our private chat, guys, was talking about how Dying Light is not his game. He's not enjoying it. He thinks it's lame, or something like that. I don't remember what your wording was.
What I said, but
what did you more or less? You were saying you were bored.
Well, I said it feels kind of bland to me right now.
Okay. All right, and probably a fair criticism if you're early on, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I looked, it says 14 hours, but some of that's the game running, you know what I mean? So I think I'm maybe 8 or 10 hours in. I'm not giving up on it. I'm not hating it. It's not pulling me in so far.
It can be like that, I think. But the joke was that Cyberpunk is going to drop a patch at some point, and 15 months after, it might work, right? That was our joke. And then all of a sudden, after I made this joke, it looks like this is actually truly seriously happening. And my question is, were you expecting it now? Why would they wait 15 months, but 15 months from release? Why would you put this out in February? Why not wait till March? What's the angle here? Because February is so packed. So I was curious if we could talk about that, because I've said I will be buying it if it goes on sale, because Ains refused to buy this game of the year for me. I specifically requested.
We were just joking about that. I swear to God, I have like 4 copies of it. If you want me to send you a disc, I will. I mean,
no. I'm giving you a hard time. Just give me money. I want it digitally. Just kidding.
I got the disc over there. It's still in the cellophane. I got it for $10 with the steelbook. That's gross.
Right. Exactly.
But I have to use the disc PS5 that my brother has downstairs. I'm like, oh, that's a hassle.
Well, that's your fault for buying the wrong PS5.
Hear it spinning.
Yeah, no, just hear it spin.
PS5's kind of loud though.
Yeah, real talk, man. That design sucks because I always mess up where to insert the disc. I always do it the upside down. Oh God, whoever designed it should get fired. Continue.
So I guess why put this out in February? Are you excited for what this is going to bring? What if it doesn't work? It work in the way they want it to? I get that those are kind of just the pillar points, because this is meant to be a flagship game for this generation, right? One of the starting points of this generation was supposed to be Cyberpunk, and I'm genuinely excited to play it if it's working. Again, I'm not casting shade. I really promise I'm not. I'm genuinely excited to play it if it's what it was meant to be, right? The same reason I'm excited for people to try Halo Infinite when co-op gets added, what it was meant to be. I want that for people, and I want that for myself. So, where are we at this point?
So your first question was, did we see it? Did we see it coming? Well, yes, because they reaffirmed in December, I think it was, that it was still coming in first quarter. So they doubled down on that. So it's directly, as we record this, in the middle of the first quarter. I mean, to the day. So yeah, I expect an announcement on this soon because they have to show it. In fact, I tweeted 4 days ago. I was just looking at me sitting here waiting patiently for CD Projekt Red to announce the Cyberpunk update. So I'm getting lucky that it's coming tomorrow.
Are you? Yes. That's the second question.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting there. There's a lot to unpack. Let me get there. No, it does come at a bad time, right? Obviously, Horizon is, I think, gonna capture most of us on Friday that are interested in those types of games, and then obviously the monster hits next week that we've all been waiting a long time for. So Elden Ring takes priority over everything. Everything else will get dropped when Elden Ring comes out, including Horizon. But you got to think CD Projekt Red is not going to, in my opinion, they're not going to wait on the timeline of those games. There's still big releases in March. To them, the game's already out. They've already made their money on it. There's tens of millions of copies that have been sold of Cyberpunk, for better or for worse. So this is just a faster way to get this out and give people that opportunity who've been waiting to play it. And remember, as big as Horizon is, it's an exclusive. It's not playable on PC. It's not playable on Xbox. As big as Elden Ring is, there's still hundreds of millions of people that are not going to play Elden Ring. So, I think it's fine to drop it now, and I think it's still going to regenerate interest of millions and millions of people who have been waiting to see what this game, hopefully, to your point, can truly be like.
I think it's dumb. No, a lot to unpack here.
Stop taking my catchphrase, you two.
Put it on a shirt, and then maybe I won't.
Our catchphrase.
Oh, fucking weirdo. Anyway, but no, I think this is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they shadow dropped it. Because I'm not gonna play it until April. Like realistically, I got Horizon and then I got Elden Ring, and I think their guess is like, listen, it doesn't matter because this game is going to sell no matter what. It's our name attached to it. It's different enough from Horizon. It's different enough from Elden Ring to make a splash. So why not just release it now? Is probably what they're thinking, and to get ahead of whatever financial earnings call that they got at the end of the month or something, because that's the only thing that I kind of see. It just this move is just bewildering, because to me, I'm like, you could have done the same thing in the middle of March where there's like nothing and had a huge splash, and I would have guaranteed went and tried it again. I have a really bad relationship with that game because I'm just like so many of us who wanted to love this game. I had I had my PlayStation 5 at the time, and it ran like garbage. Constant bugs, constant glitches, and when I got to the diner with Johnny Silverhand, it just kept crashing. I never got past the diner, and I'm like, dude, I'm like on hour, I don't know, and I can't even get out of this diner. I keep on getting crashes when I'm trying to get engrossed in the story. I'm out of here, and I got really burned by it. So whatever they show me tomorrow, or as of this episode, really has to blow my socks off for me to get actually interested. And not, again, maybe I'll dip my toe into it this week, and then when I'm done with Elden Ring and I'm done with Horizon, I'll check it out in April. But to me, this was a big swing and a miss from them. I don't think it was smart, but I don't know. And listen, I think a lot of people are going to go out there and download it, especially if you're in the Xbox camp, because it's pretty dead for you right now. So I could see why that may be the case, why they chose this month. But
one thing I would say about the timing too is, in all seriousness, it does show confidence, I think, to a degree. Sure. Because they said first quarter, Witcher 3 is second quarter. They reaffirmed those in December. So the fact that it's not middle of March and we're all like, where the hell is this update that's supposed to be coming first quarter? CD Projekt Red is letting us down again. Instead, they just come out. Well, obviously it leaked today, but they come out today and say, hey, tomorrow we're going to talk about it. And now we know the patch is ready. I don't know. At least that shows confidence in hopefully whatever this build is. We also know, according to some people that apparently got the update early, it's about 41 gigs.
I thought it was 20 gigs. It's 40. I'm sorry, I missed
41.
Okay,
41 gigs. The original game is 57. So that puts into perspective. You can at least glean from that this is a major update. A lot of textures, a lot of heavy assets, probably like 1 million more fixes. So let's hope, right? Fingers crossed.
I want to believe you that there's confidence, but I saw how they released it last time and the things they said. So it could genuinely be stupidity. And so I do not know.
Do you think they take an extra year and then come out with a patch that's not really ready?
You literally just described Crossfire X, which Remedy
no. Well,
and Smilegate are involved in. Yeah. Two respectable developers, though, Remedy and Smilegate. Smilegate put out Lost Ark. Like, that's to the T what just happened with Crossfire X. You know what I mean?
So Smilegate's more of a... There's some nuance there. There's other developers that it's not necessarily Smilegate that make Crossfire X.
I grant you that, but I think the point kind of stands. Like, I don't have faith in them. Like, I just don't. I don't think they've earned that faith after their debauchery last time. from the way they distributed review codes to how they handled last gen to this gen stuff. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but optimistic. But to Joe's point, if Dying Light wasn't your thing, you're pretty dry in the Xbox camp for a good while, for a real good while, actually. So maybe there is validity in that. I know I've got Dying Light 2 and Witcher 3 on my to playlist in terms of big games. Witcher 3 is on my second playthrough. I can bump that to quarter 2 and just wait for that update if I want. That's maybe I'll jump into Cyberpunk sooner. If all things come out.
I'll cut off Luke here. He sucks. I'm sorry. There's no way that there's no way they put out a patch that's not ready, Luke. There's no way. No way. With the reputation that they already have now, there's no way it comes out.
And let's remember,
we just had every AAA game launch broken.
There's no way this thing comes out that messy.
We just watched every AAA game launch
broken. No way.
What do you mean every AAA game broken?
Like Battlefield and Disaster, Call of Duty Vanguard failed. I'm not arguing the patch point. What I'm saying is there is not a precedent of success at the moment.
So, Luke. So they did. Let's also remember though that this was supposed to come out late last year, right, in 2021, and they came out, took the punch in the face yet again. They've taken a lot since this launched, and they deserved it.
That's the one that broke them.
And they basically said, "Look, it's not ready." They're like, "When this releases, we want it to be done right." They have a public statement on this. We want it to be done right. It's going to take more time, and they delayed it to first quarter.
They publicly stated it was going to be great on. It runs pretty well on last gen. I'm not arguing the patch.
That was 15 months ago. Let it go.
I'm not standing on a hill to die on it. What I'm saying is, there's this odd amount of trust I think that's getting placed in them. I want to see how it goes.
Well, me too. But you're acting like everything's broken and this is going to fall on its face.
Does it sound like that? I don't mean for it to sound like that.
Yeah, that's how it comes off, you dumb bitch.
Oh my God, man, I'm so sorry. It's Valentine's
Day. There's absolutely a percentage chance that this doesn't fix everything. In fact, I think it's probably a greater percentage chance it doesn't fix everything. And I bet you that people are going to go into this game tomorrow after the update, look for any bug they can find, post a clip on Twitter, and say it's still broken, blah, 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 blah. But
God, those people really suck.
They ruin everything.
Yeah, they do.
They ruin everything.
I am confident enough, and we can make a gentleman's bet on this, that this update will greatly improve the experience and bring Cyberpunk at least up to the level of properly playable for the majority of people. That's what I would say.
I hope so, and I'm not rooting against it, and I think you're probably right. I'm just saying I had damaged trust there. That's all.
Yeah,
that's what I was.
Yeah, they do. Because they haven't recovered yet.
I think Cyberpunk's dead.
You know, the craziest thing about Cyberpunk, though, after all this time, is that they came out the day after launch and said it's already profitable.
And with the refunds, didn't even dent them.
Didn't even hurt them. 7 years of development, they made their revenue back in one day, despite all of this press.
And didn't it was off the PlayStation stores for a long time, wasn't it?
Yes, several months. Yeah.
Oof.
Yep.
I heard PlayStation's gonna buy them.
And yet,
I heard it from a reliable source on Reddit. I read that source on Forbes.
Joe, shut up! I'm trying to hear Ains.
No, I was going to say, even when they announce something about Cyberpunk, sales go back up, especially on PC. Like, it's been back in the top 10 sellers multiple times last year.
If it was so good, why don't I own it yet?
That's right.
I don't know.
Can we talk about an indie game that I'm loving that I think went under the radar? That's really mean. That was really mean, Ains.
Joe, are you okay?
No. Somebody help. There's a man.
He's doing the Kermit thing.
There's a man in my house.
Infernax has, I think, a terrible name. But I love this game. I will tell you, I played it early with a code that was provided, and then I also got to interview the devs. And I have on good authority. I have on good authority. You're going to hear about it on somebody else's show too. So you'll hear from these devs a couple times on a couple shows if you like Cast Co-op. But this game is really.
What show
good.
is he referencing? You think?
What do you think, Ains? Do you know about it? You don't, do you, Ains?
I don't know anything. I don't know
That's
why
right.
you guys think I know stuff. I don't know anything.
Bottom line, I don't like the name of this game, but I love this game. It's good. And Ains, it's for people like you that grew up on Zelda 2.
Zelda 2.
Zelda 2 and Castlevania
Zelda
2.
2 is horrible. What are we talking about here?
Oh, jeez. Ains, you're showing your ignorance right now. I don't know.
Have you played Zelda 2?
No. But Infernax, I have played, and that game's really good. It's really fun.
Did Zack Snyder help make this game? Is this where we're going?
If he did, let me. Oh.
No, I got to tell you, I really dig it too. I'm only like an hour in, but like to me, it gives me the old classic NES vibes without it feeling like, designed in the 80s.
Like Shovel Knight.
Like Shovel Knight, yeah.
Shovel Knight is so good.
No, Shovel Knight felt like it was designed in the 80s.
Ains hates Shovel Knight, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Mm.
Yeah, Mr. Judge Luke for his taste in games doesn't like Shovel Knight. God's gift to retro. All right.
Yeah.
What?
But yeah, no, it's hitting the nostalgia itch for me while not also giving me the this is an old game thing that I usually hits me where I like this is really old design and I'm not engaging with it well. Like it still feels somehow like a modern pixel game, but with the aesthetic of the classic NES games that we know and love. So I'm really liking it a lot so far. I'm like the third boss, I think. Digging it.
I might be on the same boss as you, but I've been doing a lot of the side quests, and that's been really fun.
Yeah, no, I've just been really fun.
Yeah, I've not been
classic Castlevania, like you said. I've only seen screenshots of it. It's out on Game Pass today as we record.
Yep.
Yes, and it's tailor-made for Switch users. It's on PlayStation. It's on Steam. But Ains, the enemy design, the monsters are like right up your alley as a horror fan. It's awesome.
Okay.
Like dude, it's like some Akira level shit I've seen.
It's gross.
And I'm like, oh boy. I have like a tweet out if you want to take a look at what like some of these designs are going to look like. But yeah, even they said it's like I think like the tagline is like prepare for gore or something like that. I'm like, ooh, yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I also got a code for it, humble brag. But
okay.
Are you talking to the developers, Joe?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. All right, cool. Nice. Yeah, Ains, you want to make fun of me for interviewing people?
Oh, I got the press email about it too. I just ignored it.
I didn't get a press email. I went to them months ago.
I got the email about wanting code. I was like, I don't have time for this right now. So that's fine.
Oh no, I'm working on bringing voices in, and turns out a lot of developers don't like coming on shows when they're in the final stretch of putting their game out. It's like they're busy.
Go figure.
Actually, right?
What?
It's crazy.
No.
I know.
Get out of town.
The game started as a Flash game. Infernax did. How crazy is that?
That is crazy, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flash. They're on your episode this week, right?
Mine this week, Joe's next week, and I don't know if we're talking the same guy. I don't know if we're talking the same guy.
Who knows?
That's kind of cool. You should listen to both shows and compare them. And
how many people was it made by? Do you know?
7? No, I don't know off the top of my head. He told me.
So less than 10.
I think so. The problem is the studio fluctuated during development because Infernax started like 5 years ago and then got put on hold. And then 10 years ago, and they got put on hold, and then they restarted it 5 years ago. And so like there's like a weird timeline there. That's why it's hard to answer.
Man.
So, but it's cool. I mean, it's just genuinely the reason I brought it up is I don't want a really good game to be missed in a month of games that are just super high profile, because this is a small like indie 2D side scroller in pixel style. So I don't want it to get overshadowed by some of the other stuff. February is just a month for games to get buried, and when I have one that I know is legit, I want people to be able to check it out. So
yeah, Game Pass has had an incredible month, honestly. So that's good to hear.
Do you think Cyberpunk drops into Game Pass? It'll be people will know. You don't think it will? Okay. I was just curious. That's like the thing that keeps happening.
Yeah, a lot of people said that with the update, but I don't know if you saw CD Projekt's global PR lead came out today, and he said, no, I just want to clear up any confusion that Cyberpunk is not coming to Game Pass.
That was an old tweet. The one that went into our DMs. That was from 2021, I believe.
No, I could have sworn I saw.
I'm pretty sure that was from.
Maybe I mistook it.
I mistook it. because it's recirculating. But it doesn't matter. Like by the time this is out, people will know. But I do think it'd be a good move on their part. You know, earn some love back. They don't need it, but you know, would have been a good move in a time where Horizon's coming out. Hey, Xbox users, here's Cyberpunk.
Yeah, especially if the update hits like we hope it hits. Yeah,
right.
God, I'm so excited.
Mo has some of the best gifts that I've ever seen. So good.
I'm on a podcast with him tomorrow night, so
I wish I would have saved it. Not to change the subject, but there was a thread that a developer made, a developer at some other AAA studio last year, and he made a thread which showed a scene in Cyberpunk, and it was like 30 tweets long, where he explained how brilliant it was and how hard it was to code, like for the developers. It was such a cool thread talking about like just from a game developer mindset, all the things that you wouldn't normally notice. It was amazing, and I wish I would have saved it because it's a good one to share right now.
November 2021, they said it's not coming anytime soon.
Gotcha. I saw something similar in that design thread style about Last of Us 2, about the placement of objects on stairwells to force the player around so that the camera, they're looking at a certain spot when they come up the stairs. Little stuff like that is really neat. Often forgotten by us, but I often think back to a quote by, I want to say, one of the Force Awakened Force Unleashed developers. Like, they work super hard on this one plant life in this one area, and most players will never see it. You know, it's like just something like that. Like, it's an interesting element to gaming art versus other forms of art, you know?
Yeah. It was like that. It was a scene in the nightclub when you meet the blue-haired chick. I forget her name now. But it was just like all the cinematics of it and how she moves and the way the camera pans, and it's just incredible. And by the way, I just happened to notice that the last patch that came out for Cyberpunk was September 14th. So 6 months as we're sitting here talking right now.
Wow.
And they came out a month later in late October and said, we're pushing the patches back to 2022. The teams supervising the development of both games, the updates for Cyberpunk and Witcher, have recommended that they get more time, and that's when they pushed it.
Okay. So
cool.
We'll see. Hopefully they start listening to the damn developers and QA teams. Hopefully.
This occurred to me. This is not the first time we've ever considered this as a Halo Battle Royale amidst talk of Halo kind of falling away in terms of like the relevancy in terms of people's minds. But then if you look at Twitch numbers during the Halo Championships, Twitch drops climbed right up there. It was interesting to me because Joe and I got back into Fortnite this past weekend. We want that Spider-Man skin.
I want the Spider-Man skin, and I got Bub A. Fett,
Robert A.
Yes. And I got Fennec Shand because I find her very attractive.
It's I like that.
And who knows? Maybe tomorrow I buy an Uncharted boy.
Here's the thing.
Who is Fennec?
Fennec, she's a new character introduced in The Mandalorian. She's a bounty hunter. That
like Star Wars.
Mando shoots her in the.
I tried watching The Mandalorian. I got 3 episodes in.
You suck so bad at most
what
things.
What are you doing? Don't ever make fun of me ever. Cyberpunk's God's gift. I can't watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
What? What's God's gift?
It's just crazy talk.
What is God's gift?
It's like, Cyberpunk's the best game ever. It's
not your takes. That's what.
Yeah, for real. Anyway, Fortnite's legitimately just a good game. Yeah. I don't care. You whatever.
No, people that complain about it, real talk, people like games, they suck. They don't like happiness because they're like, the kids enjoy it, so this must mean it sucks.
That's right.
And it's fun. It's fun. Someone built Taj Mahal, whatever. Yeah, but like then I get 360 no scoped in Halo, so who gives a shit? There's tryhards in every game. You know, right. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm done with hiding my love of Fortnite because it's a great game.
Good for you.
It's legitimately a great game that they continue to iterate on. There's a reason it's still alive at this point. I don't care about Ninja and all the other stupid stuff.
He's my favorite streamer.
Every time I'm in there with my friends, I'm having a blast.
For one reason in particular. Could you guess?
Rounding it back, though, in dropping each week, I often think about the scenarios we created a few months ago where like you ODST drop in, where sniper rifles are dropped in, where you see all these like cool weapons and vehicles, that sandbox. And man, oh man, if the Forge leaks that I saw are real, and the attrition elements of the kind of the walls moving towards you, Halo Infinite Royale would be such a dope mode. I don't care if it's limited time or you try it out, see if it's legit. I want that. I want that experience. I want pelicans flying overhead on a massive Halo battlefield. Yeah, I want that. I want that. I'm tired of apologizing for it. Fortnite's great, and I would love to see one of my favorite shooters and franchises of all time be explored in a genre that's successful. And I don't think that's clout chasing. I don't think it's trend chasing per se. Why not? What's holding you back? Like, why not?
Is Luke just trying to chase clout again, Joe?
I think he is.
You can look at my thumbnails and know I don't chase clout. I'm terrible at it. Not a single shocked face once.
You need more Phil Spencer in your thumbnails, by the way.
Yeah, Phil Spencer, lower left, you with a dumb expression on your face, tongue out, like you're inviting something.
If I played the game better in that area, I'd have more listeners, but I don't want to. I'm not clout chasing.
Tongue out, eyes up.
Mode.
That's
you know what that's called? Go
on, Mr. Teacher. What is it called?
Whatever listener figure knows what I'm talking about, you're the problem. You're the gross one.
All right, two things. I'll keep it quick and get us back on track. One,
okay.
We have no track.
I will read. This is a serious statement. Okay. So, assuming Luke will stay up past 8 p.m. one night, I will download Fortnite and play it with you guys because I'm genuinely interested in playing it with you guys. Seriously.
For real?
Yeah, I've actually played a lot of Fortnite. It's as much as I make fun of you guys for it, I've actually played it quite a bit.
Dude, jump in with us. We have a blast.
So I will. I'll download it tonight. Seriously, Scout's on it.
I have a blast.
All right, you know what?
He sounded very white, didn't he? That was
He sounded like Anakin in episode 1. Oh, yippee!
This is pod racing.
It's totally wizard.
Number 2 is
but Disney ruined Star Wars.
Yeah,
Remember
Disney's the one that's the problem.
Remember that. Jar Jar Binks, but Disney's the problem. Okay.
Number 2 is I completely agree with you on Halo Infinite Battle Royale. Said it from the start. I'll continue to say it. It's the perfect game for Battle Royale. It should have it. It is the perfect sandbox for it. Vehicles, amazing weapons, big ring world. Everyone else who doesn't want it, shut up. Let us have some fun. The other thing
I'm so happy right now. I thought you were going to be like, no sprinting in Halo ever.
No, I hate those people. I can't stand them. I can't stand them.
They're people that drive trucks to a border and sit.
So they're so trapped in the past. If you watch the HCS this weekend, I was joking with some guys last night about this who I play Halo with. And I was like, you're watching these amazing, amazing competitive Halo with the mechanics and movement around the map that is literally unmatched right now. And I'm thinking, imagine thinking Halo 3 is better than this. It's fundamentally not. It's just not. Halo is the best mechanically it has ever been, period, bar none, be quiet. So not only do I want Battle Royale, but I thought you guys would love, because I don't think we talked about it on the show, that the leaks that I've seen from some reliable people about this new mode that's coming directly from 343 from Certain Affinity's making it for 343 is not actually Battle Royale. It's what they're referring to as a big team battle with PvE elements. So it sounds
like real, like, sorry,
it sounds a lot like a bigger type of Warzone thing, where it would be more players, PvE things on the map, and objectives to complete around the map as teams. So that's what Certain Affinity is working on. So imagine if we get.
I got heated undercarriage.
I joked a few weeks ago that Halo Infinite multiplayer will be my game of the year, because imagine this year if we get obviously normal content updates, new seasons, battle passes, right? But we also get campaign co-op. We also get Forge, and Forge is going to be built like Halo 5, where you could just go in and play all kinds of crazy game types that players build, right? In matchmaking. And on top of all of that, you get Certain Affinity's new major gigantic team mode on top of it all. Halo Infinite will look like a completely different game by the end of this year than it does right now.
Man, and I'm so hyped at that. And like, Lord knows they need those things in this year.
It needs more content, 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. But man, guys, just the possibilities are incredible.
Yeah, and it has the best mechanics from a shooter perspective on the market, bar none. I'll argue that with anybody. So thinking about that, still having this amazing competitive scene that's building right now, right? On top of having like major kind of big team, big fun co-op modes in multiplayer, plus Forge, plus campaign co-op, forget about it, man. It's going to be incredible.
Ains, I'm going to put something in the chat for you, and I'm not messing with you at all.
In what chat? Well, this is not good for listeners.
Also,
so why don't we keep talking?
I was gonna
look at it, and you'll realize why I got stunned out of my moment.
Seriously?
Oh, Luke, yeah. I will pay you good money, and I mean
pay more. I will pay more.
Luke, I do not have a gag reflex. Luke, my whole fist I could fit in my mouth. And guys, I can't tell you what.
I got it too.
There it is.
Luke, my whole fist.
I'll give
it my esophagus. Please, for the love of God. And guys, you will know what we are talking about because I am moist. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I'm like,
I'm reinstalling Steam.
I had a terrible day. It's been rough at work. I'm busy as F, and I just got like the one thing right now that will cheer us up. I don't even know if I can talk about it, so I'm not going to say.
You can't.
Absolutely don't do it.
That's so cool that it happened on air this moment.
Yeah.
Joe, I'll give you mine. That's fine. Because
you're a good friend.
I got you. Let me wait till you go back from them asking.
Let's go, Joe. Let's go.
Oh man. Woo.
Oh my God. I'm literally loading it up right now. I'm not even messing around.
There you go. Be careful. The reflection's literally in the screen.
Yeah. Watch over the reflection. Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Well, look at that.
So we got to go.
I'm not sleeping tonight, apparently.
Oh, right? Oh my God. I don't know how. Okay. Anyway, very excited.
I don't even know what to say right now. Sorry, this has been terrible to listen to.
Terrible to listen to.
No, because people are like, "Oh no, what are they excited for?" And they're gonna guess, and we're gonna be like, "Oh no, it's not that." Would be cool though. You know.
Is that
cool?
That's real cool. Congratulations to the both of you.
Well, no, hey, okay, so you accidentally stumbled into something. I want to congratulate you two. For real.
The fuck did I do?
You both posted like some pretty freaking awesome growth.
Oh yeah.
This past week, and since the whole premise of Cast Co-op is celebrating our shows and also coming together, I am just super happy for you guys. You're both crushing it, and I would like to know if you would share what how you grew.
Oh, okay. You want me to go first?
Go ahead, Joe, because I'm trying to figure out how to do something right now.
Hey, focus, buddy. Focus. We're almost done.
I'll buy Ains time. Excuse me. Sorry, I coughed. How did I grow? Persistence, learning from my mistakes, constantly striving to get better, being surrounded by people that are smarter than me, learning how to give back, that it's not just a vertical moves, that you have to make some horizontal moves along the way, and about doing what you love. I see a lot of people out there chasing clout, right? What did I mention? You know, the people with the eyes up, tongues out in the lower thirds of every thumbnail, that do it for the Twitter attention rather than making good content. I want to make content that if my mother listened, she'd be proud of. And she's actually told me a few times, she's like, Joe, you are so good at this. This is like, you sound excellent. And so that's what I want. I want people that are outside the game world, but inside my inner circle, being proud of what I'm making. I see people that, and this is the number one thing that I see, and it's the biggest mistake. I'm going to go make 5 shows. Don't do that. It's dumb. I'm not going to watch all 5 of your shows. Don't. Make sure you have one really, 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 really good product. Make it so that you know that it's second nature. And then you could go out and start expanding on that. That's what you do. Don't just make 5 shows talking about the same thing over and over again. That's a YouTube strategy, and that's just going to burn you out. It's about persistence. It's about getting better at the craft, learning SEO, learning how. I'm not a creative person, but I'm constantly fiddling around with thumbnails, which are the pictures you see videos. It's
I'm
just getting better, man.
Terrible at them. We constantly talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm just not good at it.
So like for me, it's just persistence, focusing on the craft and making sure that you know that you are the best that you can be at it. That's how I've saw it, and the growth that we've made is all about growing smart, not fast. I see a lot of people that want to hit 30,000 subs on YouTube, and you're going to wake up to a horrible reality of how do I keep this up? And I need to go hire a team of editors and all this malarkey that comes along with it. It's about growing slow, steady, wins the race type of mentality. And we're getting there. You know, this year, this February alone, we did in the first week what we did last year in a month. So it's also the one thing that is really hard for everybody is that one idea that could take you places. You know?
That's awesome. That's good advice. I wish Shane's was listening to it. I know why he's not. I understand.
I am listening. I am.
Are you kidding me?
I'm doing all kinds of stuff right now. Yeah. First of all, thank you, Luke. And congrats, Joe. It's, you know, you've had this really steady incline and you've made tremendous progress in the last year, and you know some of it's deserved, so it's cool.
Also don't be afraid to shoot your shot.
That's true too, but
do you mean that? Because I've seen people shoot their shots too much on Twitter.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. When Joe says that, it means calculated. It doesn't mean 8 times a day tag Phil Spencer with something about Xbox. That's not shooting your shot, that's being a pest.
Yeah. Don't be a pest. Shoot your shot when you know you're ready. So like I didn't, you know, I knew I was going to shoot my shot with, you know, the gang over at Beyond, but I wasn't going to do it now because I knew I wasn't ready for it. Mm-hmm. So I did it at a time where I thought I knew I can do it. That's the one thing. And don't be a pest. Don't be annoying. Don't be like a phony of like laughing at a joke on Twitter of something of theirs. Like people can tell when you're being sincere. So just do it when you know you can hit the mark. Don't just shoot willy-nilly. The one thing that I hate the most, as I've seen people shoot the shot to me, is when they ask me while I'm in the middle of a game or while I'm in the middle of anything of why haven't you let me on your show? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, because that now you just make me feel like an asshole, and like the reason why I don't have people on my show is such a blanketed statement. It's not because I don't think you're great or awesome, but because I have limited time. Kyle has limited time. And we have a small window where we can do the show, and the last time we've had a guest is since October. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Just be respectful when you're reaching out, because if you're just if you're reaching out like you feel like you deserve it rather than you have to earn it, that's a big no-go.
That's good.
Did I buy you enough time?
You bought me plenty of time. I was letting you go. Agree with everything Joe said. In fact, one of the last things you said there is being genuine. I think that's key. Be yourself, because I see a lot of imitators out there who, to Joe's other point, is that they look at trying to get immediate growth. And if they're not hitting targets, one, they get frustrated. And then what you often see some of these guys do is dive down the nonsense route, as we always talk about. They start producing garbage, anything for clicks, clickbait, etc. And that's not going to get you anywhere in the long run. Sure, you may be able to say, look, I got 10,000 subs now a year later, but they're generally meaningless. Those aren't good subs, meaning they're not people that are going to increase your audience further as they are. They're only going to be like a click. And the people,
they're not here for you.
Yeah, they're not here for you. And the broader audience of PR reps and companies and everything else that look at that stuff know this. They know what those communities are like. So that's not going to get you anywhere. I would say for us, it's just a combination of just trying to experimenting and failing a bunch of times, and continuing to fail in a number of ways, in my opinion, but just finding what works. You know, we set out to create content that is kind of meaningful and unique, and it doesn't always work. A lot of it falls on its face, like I said, or is just a small audience, but that's okay, because the community that has grown over time around SG is super dedicated. They're really passionate. They're really good people. And those are the ones that are going to last. Those are the ones that'll build relationships and stay with you, and know that you're genuine. And that pays off. It may take a little longer, but it's going to have a longer tail. And that would be my advice is to Joe's point, don't run in thinking you're going to get 10,000 subs. I got to just create 18 shows and do this however I can. I have to yell into the void every day. I have to yell and pick a brand and go nuts with it. Like, yeah, you can do all that, but it's going to be short-term success.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I appreciate the sentiment. It's really cool to see. Obviously, Hogue joining BigCast was a big thing. He has a pretty big audience, and he's immediately brought an influx of subs and viewers to BigCast. But it's not all just that either. We've had the most subs in the past month faster than we've ever had. We gained 1,000 subs in the last 28 days. And that kind of pace is just crazy. We've been a channel for 5 years. We're about to hit 10,000 now. So you can imagine the pace of getting 1,000 in a month. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
So
very nice.
That's it.
That's good, gentlemen. I think that's going to call it, given that we all now have things to do.
Well, yeah, something, not to ruin it, but it doesn't look like it's ready, the thing that we're talking about. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off air because I'm excited.
Okay.
We're excited enough that we dusted off our Steam pages. I was like, midway through, I'm like, what is my password to this thing again? I don't know.
You can find me on Twitter at Insipid Ghost. You can find my content, the Xbox Expansion Pass, on all your podcast services and on YouTube at youtube.com/Xbox Expansion Pass. Please check it out. I did interview the developers of Infernax recently. I've got a few more that I'm working on in the future, but timing will be interesting on these, so I'm not sure. Ains, where can we find you? What should we look forward to? Not what should you look forward to? You're under embargo.
Yeah, so obviously Season Gaming, we just mentioned it. You're already here, as I always joke. Midcast is 11 a.m. Eastern on Sunday mornings. I would love if you can join us. It is a growing show. We're getting more and more new viewers every week. As I said, Rick Hogue of Virtual Legality fame has joined us permanently. So we've kind of finally got all the stones or become the Constructicon, and we finally have our 4-person panel that I've been talking about for a while. And it feels like the right fit. It really feels like a show now that is what I wanted it to be, which is really insightful and technical and detailed, with hopefully information that you don't get in any other gaming show. So if you would check us out, that'd be awesome. Other than that, just a lot of coverage coming in, guys. I mean, we've got Horizon, we've got Elden Ring, we've got Gran Turismo 7, a lot of huge releases coming up. So a lot of coverage over the next few weeks. And as always, if you check that out and support us, I'd love it. So thank you.
I didn't, because the excitement has gotten to me. I didn't get to congratulate you on Bigcast because it's really become one of my favorite podcasts.
Thanks.
The introduction of Hogue has been a welcomed one because we see it a lot of again, we enter speculation town, right, on a lot of things, but Hogue adds so much knowledge and more of on that legal aspect. You have, Travis, who is the reviewer mindset, the media mindset, and then it's you and Dan just there doing something. I don't know, but no, like Dan is like the common man. Dan is the common man, and you are also the one that brings in this like business savviness and all that together. You have all these perspectives that I don't feel like any show out there is doing, and without the clickbaity bullshit. On top of that is so welcome and such a breath of fresh air. Honest to goodness.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. I really do feel like my expertise is kind of more technical / industry, a little bit of dabbling in both, but no expert by any means. And then obviously Travis brings the industry perspective, working for IGN, understanding, how things go on in the Silicon Valley area.
How much you need to pay a reviewer to strike down a Horizon Forbidden West.
To review Crossfire X, the poor guy.
Poor guy, dude. Oh my God.
And then Rick obviously brings great insight along with the legal aspects, of course. And to your point, Dan is, we joke he's kind of like the common man who just wants to play the games, but he plays a ton of games. He has no bias or allegiances, and he just wants to speak to the people who just want to buy games and play them. And I think it's a really cool combination of the four of us. And I'm really excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can find me over at the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation. This week's going to be a very interesting show. We're going to have a little bit of a Horizon review conversation with Bobby from Console Creatures, and so much more. So tune into that this Thursday, wherever you find your podcast service of choice, and the video version at the Trophy Room Show. And I should mention, this is the last chance probably that you'll be able to enter in for either the Elden Ring giveaway or the Horizon giveaway that we're having. Just rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts if you want Horizon. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify and all that jazz.
All right, gentlemen. I think that's going to call it. Joe, what do we need to do?
Keep trying to download that Steam client. Co-op. Let's go, boys.